Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a literally monumental, real-world transformation of one of India's biggest cinematic icons, Joseph Vijay Chandrasekhar. We're going to synthesize some fascinating historical sources to explore how a man worshipped by millions on the silver screen managed to completely rewrite the script of his life. And, in doing so, he fundamentally reshaped the entire political landscape of Tamil Nadu. Okay, check out this quote. It feels honestly prophetic right now. During a really rare television interview right before his film Beast came out, Vijay was asked point blank about his political ambitions. His answer was simple, but man, it was heavy. He said, "Today, my fans want me to be Thalapati. If tomorrow they want me to be Thalevan, so be it." This sets the perfect stage for our explainer because, as you'll see, millions of fans literally willed their on-screen hero into real-world power. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, a superstar chief minister. So let's start right at the historic climax. Look at this staggering number, 108. In its absolute electoral debut, Vijay's brand new party, the Tamilega Vitri Kazhalgam, or TVK, clinched 108 out of the 234 assembly seats in Tamil Nadu. I mean, think about it. Most politicians spend their entire lives learning how to lose before they figure out how to win. But Vijay? He completely bypassed the traditional political apprenticeship and totally stunned political observers. Now, here's how the math actually played out to get him into the chief minister's office. He was just shy of that magic majority number of 118 on his own. So Vijay went into this grueling 5-day post-election negotiation marathon. And it worked. He secured vital coalition support from the VCK, CPI, CPM, and IUML. The craziest part? He managed to form a government without ever aligning with the traditional legacy giants of Tamil Nadu politics, the DMK or the AIADMK. But to really get why his voter base is so fiercely devoted, listen to this line from his 2010 film Sura. What sounded like your standard punchy movie dialogue 16 years ago actually foreshadowed his real-life political following today. The audience roared in the cinema halls back then, and that exact same roar spread like wildfire straight to the ballot box. Let's rewind a bit to understand how we got here in Section 2, Roots and Enduring Influences. To truly understand this unprecedented victory, we have to look at his evolution. Born in 1974, he jumped into the industry as a child artist in '84, actually directed by his own father, S.A. Chandrasekhar. He made his lead debut at just 18. But it wasn't an overnight success story. It actually took the 1996 film Puve Unakaga for him to truly break through. He didn't start off as this untouchable mass hero. He started as a relatable, emotional lead, and that really built a deep, lasting resonance with everyday audiences. Now, here is a super crucial detail about his upbringing. He grew up in a household with a Christian father and a Hindu mother, Shobha, who's a Carnatic vocalist. This dynamic instilled in him a profoundly inclusive worldview. In his own words, he grew up in a home that never restricted where he could or couldn't go to pray. And that's a philosophy of tolerance he has carried directly into his public life today. But there's also a deeply personal, frankly tragic anchor to the quiet guy the public sees. He lost his 2-year-old sister, Vidya, in 1976. Sources note that this profound tragedy turned him from a very talkative, playful kid into the silent, highly grounded man we know today. He actually invoked this loss in his very first major political speech. This is absolutely key to understanding why his fans view him more like a protective older brother rather than some distant elite politician. Which brings us to Section 3, the highest paid actor. Before mastering the ballot box, he literally conquered the box office, and his cinematic rise was highly strategic. Back in 2004, Ghilli transformed him into a bona fide mass action hero. By 2012's The Pucky, he's taking on more composed, strategic roles, fighting corruption. Fast forward to 2023's Leo, his highest-grossing film, and then his 69th project. Through all these roles, he was consistently playing the lone, moral hero taking down injustice. Basically, he was rehearsing his future political messaging right there on the screen. And this next number, absolutely mind-blowing, 275 crore rupees. That was his reported paycheck for his 69th film, officially making him the highest-paid actor in India. We're talking surpassing Bollywood giants like Shah Rukh Khan. It just proves the immense, undeniable global relevance and massive capital of his brand right before he stepped away from it all. But here's the wild part. How does a guy commanding 275 crores of film stay relatable?
Well, during the 2021 assembly elections, he casually cycled from his Chennai residence to a polling booth. Fans absolutely flooded the streets. His team denied any political messaging, but the public immediately saw it as a relatable, anti-establishment protest against rising fuel prices. He just nailed the art of symbolism.
Moving right along to Section 4, building the political machinery. So how exactly do you turn movie fans into a grassroots political engine? His blueprint involved 3 brilliant steps. First, spend decades playing the righteous protector. Second, and this is the real game changer, empower the local fan clubs. The exact same infrastructure used to celebrate movie releases with those giant cutouts was quietly converted into a dedicated neighborhood volunteer network. And third, launch TVK independently, relying entirely on this fiercely loyal, pre-built machinery. When he officially launched TVK in February 2024, he made a massive gamble. He chose not to align with the DMK or the AI-DMK. By standing completely apart from those traditional Dravidian giants, he positioned himself as a fresh, untainted alternative. And that deeply resonated with a younger generation of voters who were desperately looking for something new. And his platform was really fascinating. Rather than relying on rigid ideologies, his strategy focused on profound emotional legitimacy. He completely steered clear of caste and religion politics. Instead, he campaigned heavily on social justice and women's safety. He powerfully invoked the memory of Anita, a young NEET aspirant whose tragic story really impacted Tamil Nadu. He positioned himself not as a policy wonk, but as a deeply invested guardian. All right, let's bring it all together in Section 5, from cinema to secretariat. Let's look at how all these threads culminated in this unprecedented transfer of power. This transition from Thalapathy, meaning commander, to Thalavan, meaning leader, marks a massive cultural shift. He didn't just wake up a politician in 2024. As the sources show, he spent decades convincing millions that he already was one. His whole career was essentially a rehearsal for leadership, blending that on-screen morality with real-world credibility. I really love this little story he once shared in an interview. He said, "A football holds air within, but a flute passes it as music. Let's try to be the flute." It's such a cool analogy for his whole philosophy. He didn't want to just hoard his massive influence and wealth. He wanted to channel it. He wanted to be an instrument that creates something meaningful for the people. And that brings us to the historic day, May 11th, 2026. Leaving his wildly lucrative film career completely behind, with Jana Nayagan billed as his final movie, he was officially sworn in. The biggest first-day, first show of his life didn't happen in a theater with fans pouring milk over cutouts. It happened at his swearing-in ceremony at the Secretariat, with millions watching. So here's the big question we're left with. The superstar has definitively conquered the ballot box, absolutely smashing the traditional political mold. But running a complex state is vastly different from starring in a scripted movie. As he faces these massive, unscripted, real-world challenges, can his cinematic heroics actually translate into effective governance? That is the ultimate question every single observer is waiting to see answered. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and remember to keep questioning the world around you.